My friend Kyle has a 27-footer center console boat. In the summer, he's the go-to friend to have for boat days since none of our other friends have a boat. I'm not a boat expert by any means, but my friend has some kind of radar on his boat that warns of any kinds of landmasses, shallow waters, and other boats. So with that, we're able to stay out on the boat past dark sometimes. The boat can fit like 8 people comfortably. This was on a hot summer day, mid-July. Kyle took 5 of us out on the boat just to drink in the bay. Then, hours later, he took us to some waterfront bar restaurant where we docked the boat, ate and drank, and chilled out for another few hours. We had an abundance of spiked seltzers in the cooler still, and it was a Friday night. So, after leaving the restaurant, Kyle took us back to the middle of the lagoon where we cruised slowly with music blasting the whole time. Kyle doesn't really drink, so it works out that he's the one with the boat, and he just enjoys boating us around without having to drink. We passed by the lighthouse on the barrier island. We all had this conversation about how there's something so liminal and creepy about lighthouses at night. Kyle cut the engine and we just floated in place for a while with the music still playing. As everyone talked, I was kind of mesmerized by the lighthouse, finding myself looking at it over and over. I think because I was so drawn away from the conversation that was being had, that I was the one to pick up on a screaming voice from the distance. I said, "Yo, cut the music," a bunch of times before whoever was on aux paused it. I said I heard a scream from the distance. We were currently floating next to an island that sat in the middle of the mainland and the barrier island. We sat in silence for a few seconds as we bopped around, and sure enough, I was right. There was a woman's scream for help coming from that island. We all looked at each other, and I could see the horror on my friends' faces. The screams were absolutely coming from the island. We were too far from both the mainland and the barrier island for it to be coming from there. We yelled back as loud as we could, and the woman's voice called back, "Help." We all screamed, "Where are you?" And the woman's voice called back, "I'm being followed." Communicating like this was hard, as we could barely hear each other. One more time, we called, "Are you on the island?" And she screamed back, "Yes." Kyle started the engine without hesitation and started bringing us over to the island. He anchored us when we were close enough to the shore of the little island. All 6 of us got off the boat and started looking around and calling for the woman. This matter became a lot more concerning when she said, "I'm being followed." This island wasn't that big, and with 6 of us walking around with flashlights calling for her, surely we would have found her. On the opposite side of the island suddenly, we heard a blood-curdling woman scream, sounding like it was partially muffled. My friends and I all yelled at each other to meet on that side of the island. We all ran as fast as we could. I ran through painful brush barefoot, and by the time I got to the other side of the island, my feet were bleeding. But there was no one here. I met my friend Kyle and Jake, who were already there, and they said they heard the sound of a boat motor driving away. There was also a fresh wake in the water, clearly from a boat that just left, but it was too dark to see anything deeper into the water. I called 911 and reported this so that Bay Patrol could be on the lookout for any mysterious boats with its lights off. A Bay Patrol boat came to Kyle's boat where we anchored, and we all frantically told the 2 officers aboard what just happened. They walkie-talkied to, I'm sure, every other boat on duty, and it became a whole manhunt. I don't think the boat was ever found though, because it didn't end up on the news or anything. All I know is there was no one on that island by the time we searched it. We were all so freaked out about this that Kyle brought the boat back to the marina, and we all just ended up chilling in his backyard, talking about what happened. To this day, we still don't know what that was about. There were no news articles of missing women as far as we knew. Was it some kind of kidnapping, or was it a group of assholes playing some fucked up prank? I don't think we'll ever know.